socialism and communism.
Hey, welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. We have what might be the worst, most disgusting story I've had to cover in 3.5 years here. I'm going to try to keep my cool because we've got a clear indictment of what masquerades as a justice system in Franklin County and in Ohio. So music's playing. We're in commercial. We'll be right with you. Thanks for your patience. Appreciate you joining us. We greet you on a Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. I have been doing this show for about 3.5 years. I've covered a lot of stories that have angered me, bothered me, stayed with me. I'm going to talk about one today that I think might be the worst one ever. Things in politics, the Hunter Biden laptop, the way the 2020 election was tinkered with, the staying of the heartbeat bill by an activist judge in Cincinnati, murders of young Columbus teenagers, young girls, Olivia Kurtz at Bicentennial Park, Mackenzie Ridley on the east side and drive-by shootings, 10,000 car thefts a year by the Kia boys, a 14-year-old dead in a high-speed crash, cops vilified, ridiculously prosecuted by the city, all of them horrible. The murder of Brooke DeVinny, 19 years old and pregnant in her 4th month of pregnancy, Sunday morning, is to me the worst because of the backstory that we now know, written about today, detailed today by Bailey Gallion in the Columbus Dispatch and by television websites in the city. Brooke DeVinny would and should be alive today if not for the utter incompetence, complete lack of compassion, complete lack of common sense on the part of Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Holbrook, who released a murderer onto the streets of Columbus with a long and awful domestic violence history without that person, Devon Blair, 23 years old, having to put down a single dollar to secure his release in mid-May for an incident in December where he beat, stabbed, threatened to kill his girlfriend, Brooke DeVinny. Michael Holbrook let him out on May the 16th on a recognizance bond. And when he did, he gave Devon Blair some words of advice. He gave him an ankle monitor, which how many criminals have cut off ankle monitors and gone about doing what they did? I don't know if Devon Blair was wearing his ankle monitor Sunday morning when he beat Brooke DeVinny and her infant in her womb to death. But Michael Holbrook, after having heard in court in the trial of Devon Blair for felonious assault, strangulation, felony domestic violence, oh, and by the way, assault on a police officer, because Devon Blair, when he was arrested for the December 28th incident, bit a police officer. Holbrook let him out without him posting $1 of bail and said to him, that was just cold-blooded, making her take off. Oh, by the way, I forgot. The December 28th incident, he made Brooke DeVinny take off all her clothes and run into the street. December the 28th. He gave her clothes for Christmas. He made her take them off and run out into the street to get away from him, beating her and dragging her from the garage where she was hiding from him into the house by her hair. Michael Holbrook knew all of this in May when he let Brooke DeVinny continue to be terrorized by this monster who eventually murdered her Sunday morning. But this is what Holbrook told Devon Blair in court on May the 16th. That was just cold-blooded, making her take her stuff off in the middle of the street. Cold-blooded, not cool. It bothered Michael Holbrook that Brooke DeVinny had to disrobe. He didn't mention anything about the fact that Devon Blair punched Brooke DeVinny. He didn't mention anything about the fact that Devon Blair held a knife to the throat of Brooke DeVinny. He didn't mention anything about Devon Blair dragging her around by her hair. No, what bothered Michael Holbrook was that Devon Blair made her disrobe and run into the street. And then Holbrook, according to Bailey Gallion's reporting in the Dispatch, told Blair that he had faith in Blair's ability to turn things around, but that he would be, and I quote, bothered if Blair violated the terms of his release. Now, this is a very significant statement by Judge Michael Holbrook, saying that Devon Blair would do something that bothered the judge if Devon Blair violated the terms of his release. Because you know what doesn't? It would be a good time for us to examine what doesn't bother Michael Holbrook. You know what doesn't bother this complete joke of an individual? Cutting off the genitals of minors, allowing boys to play girls' sports, poisoning the bodies of minors with puberty blockers, because Michael Holbrook is the judge who is blocking the enforcement of a duly enacted law in the state of Ohio called the SAFE Act. That doesn't bother Michael Holbrook one bit. It doesn't bother Michael Holbrook that this monster held a knife to his girlfriend's throat, stabbed her in the stomach, drug her by the hair into the house, but making her disrobe, that bothers Michael Holbrook. I called Michael Holbrook's chambers today. His staff attorney told me that he is on medical leave. He went on medical leave 4 days after this decision in May to get a hip replacement. I pray he gets a moral compass replacement before he comes back to the bench. I also called the administrative judge over Michael Holbrook. Her name is Kim Brown. There are several Kim Browns who are judges. This is Kim Brown with no E on the end. The other Kim Brown is the genius who wrote the letter objecting to imprisoning minors for stealing cars because it might, quote, turn them into criminals. These are the kinds of morally deficient idiots we have in charge of justice in Franklin County. I also called the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, which might be the first time I've ever spoken this sentence. To their credit, the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office objected to the release of Devon Blair on his own recognizance, because we all know that a guy who drags his girlfriend around by the hair, holds a knife to her throat, stabs her in the stomach, beats her, and threatens to kill her is worthy of being released on his own recognizance. This is so infuriating to me. And then Devon Blair did not show up after his May 16th court appearance. Do you know when they scheduled his sentencing? July 22nd. So he gets to go 2 months after his release before he's sentenced for clearly violent crimes that show you exactly what he had in mind and exactly what he was capable of doing to this 19-year-old girl who is now dead, as is the infant in her womb. This is so sickening and so disgusting. And it will only get worse, because you and I both know that not one thing will happen to Michael Holbrook for his egregious incompetence. Because you know what? The judge in North Olmsted, nothing will happen to him for releasing a completely lunatic person who had violated the law in Sacramento, California. Maybe it was Bakersfield, but it was California and Florida, and came back to North Olmsted and was in the police station the very day she stole 2 knives and stabbed a 3-year-old boy to death in the parking lot of a North Olmsted Giant Eagle. This is what passes for justice in this country. Now, in both these cases, the offenders were black. I don't know if that is an outgrowth of the George Floyd case, where white judges, and both these judges, the one in North Olmsted and Michael Holbrook, are white, and they're afraid of being accused of racism if they actually practice what they are supposed to do, which is keep dangerous people off the street, which they are not doing. This is so infuriating, not only because it happened, but because nothing will change.
Heat advisory in effect through Friday. It'll be partly sunny and hot. A thunderstorm around this afternoon. High today at 94. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight. Low 74. And then partly sunny, a hot one again tomorrow. High at 93. Clear skies, warm and humid tomorrow night. Low 72. And then sunny, very hot day on Thursday. High Thursday at 96. Sunny patchy clouds Friday. The high again at 96. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Everyone knows the old saying.
So infuriating.
Well, whoever said that obviously never bought a timeshare. Not only do your maintenance fees and assessment fees go on forever, they go up forever. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Over 10 years ago, I was a timeshare salesman. But once I saw the dark side of the business, I quit. I started helping folks get out of the timeshares. Since then, we've helped over 30,000 families by getting them.
He said it, but a sentence. And good people on both sides of Charlottesville. I don't know. Did I hear that, or did I make that up? That Trump said there are good people on both sides.
He didn't say that.
He did not. He
said it, but a sentence later, he said, "I'm not talking about the white supremacists and the Nazis."
Yeah. And good people on.
84. Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And
so whatever happened to believe all women?
And maybe switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. See what
this first live read is open.
Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Join me, Dennis Prager, on an unforgettable Bible cruise to the Caribbean, November 29th to December 8th. 2024. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. Amid profound conversations, I'll share about the Bible and my insights into current events in a way that I believe you will really enjoy. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
For 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative cell phone provider. And when I say only, Trust me, they're the only one. Glenn and the team have been great supporters of America First, which is why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to, but without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, and our military, veterans, and first responder heroes. Their 100% US-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Gorka or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use code Gorka. Join me. Make the switch today. That's patriotmobile.com/GORKA. patriotmobile.com/Gorka or call 972-PATRIOT.
So we are less than 10 days away now from the first presidential debate. It is June the 27th at Dave & Buster's. The debate's not at Dave & Buster's. We're at Dave & Buster's, and you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's in Hilliard, right off Hilliard Rome Road exit. You know where Dave & Buster's is. You can see it from I-270. Hope you're there. Tickets are $10 to get into our private room. I've heard people crab about the fact that we're charging to get in. We got to know our crowd because they got to have servers and they got to outfit the night so we know how many people to have. Okay, look, $10 to get in. You can order off the menu whatever you want to eat. So you're not prisoner to buffet food, even though the buffet food that we have at our other events is phenomenal. And we pack those other events out. And we're looking to pack this one out too. So $10 for your tickets, 9890answer.com. I've heard there are 2 commercial breaks in this debate because, of course, Joe Biden can't stand up for 90 minutes. He's sitting, and he still can't handle 90 minutes without a break. But we will handle it all night long with you. Go to 9090answer.com to get your tickets. Nothing will change about horrendous stories like the murder of Brooke DeVinny and the others that are articulated that stick with me from 3.5 years of doing this show, murders of young women. And it just strikes me that the ones that stick with me are most often Black victims. Brooke DeVinny is white. Her boyfriend, Devon Blair, is Black. Nothing will change about these kinds of stories. I could do this show another 3.5 years. There'll be another long list of innocent victims. Nothing will change until the people who are victimized decide they're not going to stand for this anymore. Are there going to be any pickets at the Franklin County Courthouse when Michael Holbrook shows up for work? No. Are you going to vote Gary Tyack out of office? Well, I guess you did vote him out of office, but you voted in somebody who's worse. I mean, this is just, why do you put up with this utter nonsense and just continue to be allied with the people who are unleashing these horrendously devoid of a soul policy on the city? I don't know. Here are the details. Bailey Gallion, Columbus Dispatch. I don't often say nice things about the Dispatch, but Bailey Gallion reported this very well. Brooke DeVinny's 19 years old. She told police on Thursday of last week that Devon Blair, 23, had punched her in the eye, struck her on the back of the head, and threatened to kill her. She told him Thursday. Now, I got to flash forward because he had done much the same thing, even worse, in December to her. He was in court in May for the December incident. What happened in December? He punched her, grabbed a knife, dragged her by the hair inside the house, continued hitting her, put the knife to her throat while he held her in a chokehold and said, "I'll kill you." He also jabbed the knife into her stomach. Devon Blair then punched an officer and bit him in the head when police arrived. So he's in court for that, which happened in December. And then he is released without posting $1 of bond. It's called released on your own recognizance by Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Holbrook, who told him, hey, you better watch yourself. You better behave yourself, ignoring the violence of Devon Blair's attack on Brooke DeVinny in December. A knife to her throat, threatened to kill her, punched her, held the knife to her throat, bit a police officer, and hit a police officer. I'm curious. Administrative Judge Kim Brown has not called me back. Franklin County Prosecutor's Office has not called me back. I'm curious. What does it take to have to post bond of $1 to get out of prison if dragging a woman by her hair, holding a knife to her throat, threatening to kill her, stabbing her in the stomach, and hitting and biting a police officer gets you released on your own recognizance? What does it take? I'm just curious, the filter through which Michael Holbrook views justice, where he would release this monster for doing all those things in May. But of course, the judge can't answer that because he's conveniently not at work anymore. He's on medical leave. He got his hip replaced. This is so incredibly. I hope the family of Brooke DeVinny sues Michael Holbrook, Franklin County, and anybody else who has a thing to do with this for tens of millions of dollars. There should be attorneys all over the United States who are lining up to take her case because this guy, so again, Thursday, it just infuriates me. I'm sorry I'm making it disjointed and hard to follow. Bailey Galleon's reporting in the Dispatch says that Brooke DeVinny told police on Thursday of last week that Devon Blair had punched her in the eye, struck her on the back of the head, and threatened to kill her for at least the second time, because we know he did it in December. Then Sunday morning, the city's 911 center received a text from a family member stating that Blair was at DeVinny's home and was assaulting her. Officers saw Blair leaving the scene on foot when they arrived. They found her. She's pronounced dead at 8:45. Her unborn child dies 4 minutes later. She was 3.5 months pregnant. He was wanted on charges of domestic violence, aggravated menacing, and assault stemming from the Thursday assault report. So he had been found guilty in May of the December incident. He was found guilty of felonious assault, guilty of strangulation, guilty of assault on a police officer, and felony domestic violence. Found guilty in Michael Holbrook's courtroom, but Holbrook said, hey, I'm going to let you go and watch yourself and don't disappoint me, Devon Blair. Unreal. So what did the Thursday incident trace to? She approached a police officer in a police station parking lot Thursday morning at 6:40 a.m. and told the officer she was the victim of domestic violence. She told the officer that she and Blair had gotten into an argument the night before when she was driving home. She had said she was going to break up with him, and he told her she better not get off at the exit where her parents' home was. So she was getting off to go to her parents' home to get away from him. When she took the exit, Blair punched her in the right eye and hit her several times on the head. He also picked up a can of car cleaner in the car, threatened to, quote, bash her head in and kill her. She told police Thursday morning that Blair had previously stabbed her and she had been hospitalized due to his assaults. And he's let go on his own recognizance out on the street to show up at her apartment or her home or wherever she was on Sunday morning and beat her to death. Columbus Police Sergeant Joe Albert. I don't blame CPD for this. I'm trying to find out what the protocol is on when somebody is out on a warrant, when a warrant's been issued for their arrest for not showing up for their sentencing, pre-sentence investigation. I'm trying to find out what the protocol is. I don't think they like marshal the forces and go out and look because there's so many people who are out that they wouldn't have a chance to patrol any neighborhoods. And maybe it'd be a good thing if they didn't patrol any neighborhoods, because when you do patrol a neighborhood and you try to make teenagers not congregate in the street and not run away from police officers when they stop and say, hey, let's have a chat, then the police officer gets fired for doing it. We talked about that yesterday. Joe Albert, police sergeant, says before today's incident, Devon Blair had 2 warrants out for his arrest for domestic violence that did involve Miss DeVinny. He, Blair, has proven to be a very dangerous individual who we unfortunately weren't able to get off the street before he took somebody's life. Blair is scheduled to be in court today. Maybe it's a good thing Holbrook's on medical leave. Probably let him out again.
SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Consumers cut back on retail purchases in April and May. They were pinching pennies in response to inflation, according to the latest.
You got MyPillow and QC Kinetics.
Gosh, this is so
I
infuriating.
can tell. It is. It's maddening. And nothing will happen to this.
Nothing will happen. Not one thing. I see it.
Expansion or equipment, Swish Funding has your back. And whether it's $25,000 or even $2 million, our process takes just minutes, with cash in your account in less than 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year, with an average monthly revenue of at least $25,000. Swish Funding, helping keep America's small businesses running. Apply for the funding your business needs at swishradio.com. That's SWISH.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer.
You still need to give me a new
today
30-second promo about your
online at
missing in action
TRA.com
thing.
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you ready to take the next step in your education?
45
Look
seconds.
No further. Ohio Christian University offers entirely online associate, bachelor, and master's degrees in a wide range of fields, from business to psychology, human services, and data science. With flexible online classes starting July 9th, you can take one course at a time or double up to fast-track your degree from the comfort of your home. Don't wait any longer to invest in your future. Take the first step today. Call 844-726-7937 to learn more, or visit ohiochristianuniversity.edu/apply. He's one of the top 10 radio hosts in the country. He never varnishes his opinions. And now more than ever, you need to spend part of your day with a healthy dose of the Mike Gallagher Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
So big heat wave coming, mid-90s temperature. I remember it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now. We had one like this where we had actual temperature over 100 and our air conditioning went out. So that's not fun to try to sleep in that kind of weather. Nothing MyPillow can do for you when it's that hot and you don't have air conditioning. But otherwise, on the many more nights where the temperature is much more temperate, if you don't have MyPillow products, well, and you're struggling to sleep, that might be the reason, because you don't have MyPillow products. And right now, it's never been more affordable to get MyPillow products than it is at the MyPillow.com site when you use my promo code Bruce to take advantage of the $25 sale. A MyPillow, the one I paid $80 for, and I have no complaints because it performs exactly like they said it would. For me, the most important characteristic, I like the fact that I can wash it and dry it, but I love the fact that it never loses its shape. You can get a queen size or king size MyPillow, or any size, any fill level, for $25. Check it out and all the other items on sale, mypillow.com, promo code Bruce. You know, I sometimes get frustrated because I keep reporting stories like this horrendous murder of Brooke DeVinny, and I just don't feel like anything ever changes. And I wonder, because I think we all like to do things that we feel like make some bit of difference. The difference that I know I make is when people come up, and this is going to come out wrong. It's already coming out wrong. I appreciate it when you come up and say you like the show. I appreciate it when you come up and you say things that I think that no one else is saying. I appreciate that. And so I hope I get the chance to interact with you guys at the debate watch party on June the 27th. We might have made a little bit of a difference, although heaven forbid they won't give us credit for it, in that guess what is ending today? Now, it's only by my calendar. Alan Rogers, producer of the show. Can you confirm for me today, Alan, that it is June 18th?
2024, yes.
June 18th, 2024. And are you under the impression, like I was on June the 1st, that we are in the midst of, as much as it gags us to say it, Pride Month?
Yeah. Excuse me, yes.
And is it reasonable to assume that Pride Month would extend until June the 30th, not June the 18th?
Yes.
Well,
normal month.
Yeah.
We're talking the word normal here in quotes.
Well, as we articulated early in the month of June, Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge George Leach was commemorating Pride Month with daily emails under the guise of heroes of pride, actors, activists, a few in the legal profession. But I note today, June the 18th, Judge Leach says on his email today, quote, I hope everyone has enjoyed our presentation of LGBTQ plus figures this month. Answer no, because they keep getting sent to me by multiple people at the courthouse, Judge. With the conclusion of the celebration over the weekend, our daily emails have come to an end. I hope everyone got the opportunity to enjoy the Pride celebrations, and we wish you a happy Pride for the remainder of the month. What are the chances that Judge Leach was told by people at the courthouse, knock it off, idiot? So, yeah, I mean, it's not conceivable that he ran out of gay heroes to write about. But yet, the Franklin County Courthouse will have to soldier on without the daily missives of barf making from George Leach. I don't know. Well, they're not surviving down there too well right now, so I don't know how they'll survive. By the way, Mayor Andrew Ginther's violent city gets more violent overnight. A 15-year-old boy is in the hospital after having been shot multiple times on Monday night. I'll give you 3 guesses where this kid was. Yes, Linden, Hamilton Avenue, and 20th Avenue. What did I say about the murder of Brooke DeVinny? That nothing will change until the victims demand change. And you can say, well, you know, we've got mothers of murdered children, and we've got the great work that We Are Linden is doing, and they are doing great work, calling attention to this kind of violence. But the violence continues. And then when you get cops in Linden trying to actually police the neighborhood and investigate suspicious activity by juveniles, and then the juveniles run and the cops pursue, which, by the way, it's against the law to run when a cop tells you to stop. And then the cop pursues the juvenile, and the juvenile ends up with a bloody nose, and then the cop gets fired. Does this embolden lawlessness in Linden, or does this retard lawlessness in Linden? My guess is the former. And so we have a 15-year-old boy who's in the hospital having been shot multiple times. He was taken to Children's Hospital, critical condition. We certainly hope he makes it. But there we are with life in Linden under the incompetence of the Andrew Ginther administration.
You know, Bruce, the people you mentioned that are activists trying to get this stuff, stop the moms and all that stuff, who are they voting for?
That is a good question.
derelicts of duty in office? Because if you are, you're peeing into the wind.
Yeah. Well, you're voting for the people who are creating the problems that you're trying to escape. By the way, when's the last time Congresswoman Joyce Beatty made a visit to a depressed Columbus neighborhood that she represents in the U.S. Congress?
The roads first.
Yeah. I think the last time was the May of 2020 George Floyd riots, where she slugged a cop on camera and bore absolutely no legal consequences for it. It's on camera. It's on camera, folks. It's on camera. Yeah. That's a great idea to get the gentleman. I believe his first name is Ralph. I apologize for not knowing Ralph's last name, but with We Are Linden, I would love to talk to him about this, or mothers of murdered children, because these murders over the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's like one after the other after the other. It's Demaya Cummerlander. She's 18. It's an 18-year-old boy at the vigil for her. He's shot. Now we've got a 19-year-old. I mean, we have so many young lives snuffed out in Columbus before the age of 25, before their brains are fully developed. I mean, it's just, man, it's so sad. And why does it bother me, a rural white guy, who I'm told I'm the problem, right? People like me are the problem. Oh, you evangelicals trying to tell us how to live with your discipline and your this and your that. Like, yeah. Meanwhile, I got 3 high-achieving kids. And look, evil can lurk and strike anyone, and any kid can go bad. And good parenting is not a guarantee to have great kids. It's just not. That's like the blessing and the favor of God if that accompanies your great parenting. But great parenting gives you a better chance of having great kids when their values are aligned with yours, when they're not disobedient, when they first and foremost are exposed to and mentored through how to develop and nurture a relationship with Jesus Christ as their Savior, which helps all the other things fall into place in their life. When I spoke at Linden McKinley High School a couple of years ago, I mean, I really struggle with what am I going to say to these kids? And shout out, big tribute to my friends Patrick and Andy and the pastoral staff and everybody at New Albany Presbyterian Church. They have made Linden a priority in their church. These are, like I said, it's New Albany Presbyterian Church. You think the people at New Albany Presbyterian Church have a reason beyond the compassion in their heart that grows out of their devotion to Christ to go into Linden and bring a meal to those kids at Linden? I mean, that is putting the love of Christ into action. So they asked me to come and speak, so I agreed to come and speak, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say? Like, what am I going to say? And I thought, you know what? The best thing you can say is to ground solid life advice through the prism of the love of Christ. And so I just said, look, you know, if you want to give yourself the best chance, because bad things can happen to anyone, evil lurks around like a roaring lion. I'm fully aware that my kids, as well behaved as they are, as good at decisions as I think they make, they are not immune from, at some point in time, just being the random victim of evil. They're not. No one is. You're not. I'm not. But I said, if you want to give yourself the best chance to have a great life, don't get a girl pregnant in high school. And if you're a girl, don't get pregnant in high school. Get a job and keep a job until you have a better job. Learn the phrase, what can I do to help? Because it'll give you fulfillment and it'll help build relationships with others. And I said, get yourself into an authentic Bible-believing church where you'll build a network of friends and people who care about you. And there were a few other things I said, but you know, those are the things that if you do those things, if you prioritize things that are good for you and good for others, your self-esteem will grow. If you're trying to find, hunt down and search for happiness through money or other temporal things, you're on a path to misery. You just are.
Heat advisory in effect through Friday. It'll be partly sunny and hot. A thunderstorm around this afternoon. High today at 94. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, low 74. And then partly sunny, a hot one again tomorrow. The high at 93. Clear skies, warm and humid tomorrow night, low 72. And then sunny, very hot day on Thursday. High Thursday at 96. Sunny patchy clouds Friday. The high again at 96. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, and I've got a movie coming out on June 27th, and it is surprisingly clean. It's called Something to Stand For, and it tells a series of incredible stories you've never heard before about a small group of Americans who built our nation. The film will air in theaters all over the country, but only for a limited time, so don't wait. Reserve your tickets today at somethingtostandfor.movie and check out the trailer while you're there, modesty aside. It's awesome and perfect for Independence Day.
The Tilton family at Tilton's Automotive Service has been serving our community with state-of-the-art equipment for nearly 35 years. From oil changes to detailing to complete engine replacement, we're here to serve you to the highest levels and make you part of the family. All our repairs are backed by a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. Check out our mobile app for discounts and specials. Tilton's Automotive Service, in the shadow of Anheuser-Busch in Columbus and just off Creekside in Gahanna. For more info, check out tiltonsauto.com. Take it to Tilton's.
Are you a business owner? Did you know that there are over 33 million small businesses in America? Small businesses are the engines that power our country. So why is it so hard for them to acquire business funding for things like expansion and cash flow? Bank loans are becoming harder to attain as large corporations grab all the capital. Who's looking out for you and your business? Meet Swish Funding, the business funding platform offering quick and easy funding options exclusively for small businesses. Whether it's funds for cash flow, expansion, or equipment, Swish Funding has your back. And whether it's $25,000 or even $2 million, our process takes just minutes, with cash in your account in less than 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year, with an average monthly revenue of at least $25,000. Swish Funding, helping keep America's small businesses running. Apply for the funding your business needs at Swish.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Hooley, this is Janet Grubb calling for the prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office.
Mm-hmm.
I was just advised by Melissa, who is off today, that you called in about the Parsimony matter.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that there is additional prosecution involving the people who were involved in the original case,
Yeah.
We cannot further comment
Okay.
while this matter is pending. I would like to say from the standpoint of the office, though, that our prayers are with the loved ones of Parsimony, and we're very sorry.
And ma'am, can you tell me, I'm in commercial, so I need to get back on the air. Can you tell me again your affiliation? You're with which, because I've called a bunch of offices today. Which?
Okay, I'm the first assistant prosecutor at the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office.
Great. Thank you very much. It's Janet Graves, right?
Janet
Grubb. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye. If you are in pain, there's no reason for you to continue to be in pain unless you're told by my friends at QC Kinetics that they can't help you. But how will you know if you don't take advantage of the free consultation that you can get at their Gahanna or their Dublin clinic? You won't know. You want to live in ignorance? You want to live in pain? Well, the answer, I hope, is no to both. And so why not take advantage of QC Kinetics' revolutionary medical advancement in advanced regenerative therapy? Wow, those are big words, Bruce. What does that mean? Advanced regenerative medicine means that they take the platelets from your body, the natural healing agents, and they put them back in your body at strategic intervals, and they accomplish certain tasks that allow your body to escape the hip, back, knee, neck, joint pain that you have. If you've been told you're bone on bone, you better check it out somewhere else. And that somewhere else is QC Kinetics. So call them 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Conveniently, during the commercial break, I got a call from a spokesperson from the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. Was I on the air while I was on the phone there? Or no, that's fine. So we were in silence for a while, or what were we? Okay, all right. Well, so I'm going to explain the silence. The silence was that I was on the phone with this lady who called me, because I've called Franklin County Prosecutor's Office today. I've called Judge Michael Holbrook's chambers, which I knew there was zero chance that coward would come on the air, that complete incompetent, soulless coward who has already greenlit the continual mutilation of children by preventing the enactment of the SAFE Act, duly enacted into law by the Ohio General Assembly, by the way. Michael Holbrook, one activist judge standing in the way of that. Yeah. So I called Holbrook's office. I called the administrative judge, who is theoretically the, I don't want to say boss, but supervisor over Michael Holbrook. And the initial conversation with the assistant to Judge Kim Brown did not go well, because she was like trying to hustle me off the phone. And I'm like, I want to make sure you know what I'm asking you, because I've done this a long time, folks. Like, I'm not going to ask an administrative judge to comment on the murder of a 19-year-old girl and her infant. I know that's an outstanding case, and you're not going to comment on that. But I couldn't get it through this woman's head because she kept cutting me off. And I finally had to say, if you'll stop talking and let me tell you what I'm asking, then maybe we can finally get to some productive piece of conversation here. And I said, what I want to know is, given the violence of the December incident involving Devon Blair, where he drug his girlfriend by her hair, forced her to disrobe and run into the streets naked to get away from him, held a knife to her throat, stabbed her in the stomach, bit a police officer and assaulted a police officer. My question was, is it common for a Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge, Michael Holbrook, to release that offender after finding him guilty on his own recognizance without posting bond? That was my question. Judge Kim Brown has not come back from court and gotten back to me yet. But the lady who called me during the break was from the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. And this is, look, it's not her fault. I get it. But I'm told by her, because I wanted to know, like, my question to her was, Bailey Galleon's reporting in the Dispatch says that you guys, I didn't say this, but for once, actually attempted to prosecute a case the way it should be, and that your prosecutor objected to Michael Holbrook, the judge, releasing this guy on his own recognizance. I just want to know, I want to confirm that fact, okay? I want to confirm that, make sure that's true. And if so, I'd like to speak to that prosecutor, because you would think that prosecutor in a case that is completed, not out there for more court action. And the goofy thing about our legal system is you probably can't even get admitted into court past acts on something like this. Maybe, but they'll have to like get that past the judge, because a lot of times you can't get past acts. Oh, this guy's robbed 3 stores. He's robbed another store. He drove the same getaway car. Wait, you can't prejudice the jury with the 3 past acts. That's how stupid our legal system is at times. So they might not be able to even refer to the December incident and the May guilty plea in the murder trial of Devon Blair. But I wanted to know, could that prosecutor come on the air and talk about why he objected to Blair and why Holbrook would have released him? And she tells me, since there are further developments in the case. No, they're not. It's a new case. That case is over. But I didn't have time to argue it with her, because she's, you know, I try not to be rude to people who answer the phone in these offices, because they're not, you know, the judge isn't picking up the phone. Gary Tyak, the Franklin County prosecutor, is not picking up the phone. Andrew Ginther's not picking up the phone. Zach Klein is not picking up the phone. They've got a firewall of people to keep them from having to be accountable on anything. And that's why I say the only place these people are accountable is at the ballot box. And if you live in Linden, the Hilltop, Franklinton, and you just keep voting for them because, oh, which one of these morons on my ballot, whose name I've never heard, has a D in front of their name, if that's your filter, you're going to keep getting this. Well, I can't believe the extremely fit mayor that we have is out on the golf course on a 96-degree day, because there are many other days that he can play golf. Who knows? He's probably in a golf simulator somewhere inside. But at any rate, she said, no, there's more details on the case. There's a new case, so we can't comment. You can't comment on a case that was over adjudicated. Penalties get like ridiculous. Lack of accountability. There it is. Lack of accountability. Absolutely 100% clear. And she was very nice, and I appreciate her time and all that. And I'm not giving her name because her name's, I don't mean it's not important, but her name, I don't want anybody like, here's the problem. You mention somebody's name who works in the office, and then if we get somebody who's as exercised about this as I am, decides they're going to look her up on the Franklin County website and they're going to email her, she doesn't deserve that. She's just conveying the message. Okay, so it's not her fault. Unless her name is Corinne Jean-Pierre. And I'm speaking figuratively, not literally, because I know the difference between the two, but this bubblehead at the White House does not. Because she has said before, people are literally being crushed by the high prices. No, they're not literally being crushed. They're figuratively being crushed. Okay, moron. Now, her defense for Joe Biden looking like the stooge that he is at the G7 in Europe on stage with Obama the other night, and in a video of a Juneteenth celebration at the White House where he made Elaine Benez dancing on Seinfeld look like Michael Jackson's moonwalk. Here is Corinne Jean-Pierre saying that you, Mr. and Mrs. American voter, aren't seeing what you're really seeing. Cheap fakes. No, wrong. No, wrong, stupid, 100% lie. He's there to thank the troops. They're not criticizing him for thanking the troops. They're criticizing him for looking like he can barely stand up. Okay? That's what they're criticizing him for. Now, continue, fool. Manipulated videos. How are they manipulated? Are you not the person who released like a 14-second Joe Biden PSA daring Donald Trump to debate him, and it had 6 jump cuts in a 14-second video? That's a deep fake. Him wandering away at the G7 and having to be pulled back. Come here, Joey. There's ice cream over here. Come on. Him being pulled back by Giorgia Meloni, him being escorted off stage by Obama, him freezing up at the Juneteenth celebration. None of that is a cheap fake. Just your explanation is.
All who wander are lost. Well, in this case, he is.
Vibrant islands of Half-Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, and more, while making unforgettable memories with like-minded travelers. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself with riveting shows and spectacular views. This experience is more than a vacation. It is to participate in our discussions. The fresh insights I will share with you about books, Bible, and current events should energize and challenge you. Mark your calendars, November 29th to December 8th, 2024. Learn more and secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5598 or booking online at BreakerBibleCruise.com.
Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1 Upper Arlington, Columbus. Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
Tens of millions of the U.S. remain under dangerous heat warnings. Julie Walker reports.
Record-breaking heat is here for tens of millions of people in the Midwest and Northeast through at least Saturday, with heat alerts from Iowa to Maine, says National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Hurley.
Low to mid 90s, mid-Atlantic to Northeast, some spotty upper 90s to near 100. You know, as we get into next, especially by Saturday here in the Philly, DC, Baltimore.
And meteorologist Andrew Morrison says Texas could be affected by a potential tropical cyclone. I'm Julie Walker.
Also at townhall.com, consumers barely increased spending in May from April. Retail sales rose 0.1% in May, below the pace that economists projected. That's according to the Commerce Department. Former President Trump weighed in on two tight GOP House primaries in Alaska and Utah on Monday, making endorsements as primary season.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it for joining.
Bernie Bennett.
In Alaska, Mr. Trump backed Lieutenant Governor Nancy Dahlstrom over Nick.
Hope you guys have a good day.
Contested primary
Pray for the family of Brooke Deviney, who I can only imagine are equal parts devastated and infuriated today.
Trump's endorsement of Representative